Welcome to Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast. This is episode 13, and I'm your host, Jonathan Charney.
And I'm your co-host, Shay Northrup.
Today we're going to be talking about the Tesla crash, Pokemon Go, and what a box. And so Tesla's been in the news lately. Tesla's one of the fastest electric cars known to man. Came out 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
And originally started, I think it was $1 million or $500,000, really expensive cars. And there's one of the first autopilot crashes.
Yeah, so tell me a bit about that, John.
So from what I've been reading, and this is after the latest headlines, apparently the guy was watching some sort of movie, and apparently what autopilot is you hit a button and it drives. I'm assuming it uses the GPS on there and pre-made routes, pre-made maps.
And they've been talking about auto-driving cars for a really long time. I think Tesla's the only one that's really doing it. I know Google's talked about doing a car like that. Google's
been having their Google car or whatever for a while, and their automatic cars, but that's not actually released to the public. I know Toyota has a car that automatically parallel parks. This is the first one I know, that car that's actually in the can, released to the public.
Autopilot. How much do these things go for?
I failed you on that one. There's one, I've seen them everywhere from like $500 to $100,000.
Okay, that's fair.
Allegedly down the road, they want to make a model that's not so much in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the issue I think this guy's going to have is, according to everything I've read, autopilot mode requires the driver to have his hands on the wheels.
Okay.
On the wheel. By the way, not something I would be able to do. If I'm not driving, why would my hands,
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, I've seen enough science fiction to know that I don't want an autopilot car.
I'm totally for an autopilot car because I want to be like, Jeeves, take me to work so I can finish sleeping.
I'm just reminded of Apple Maps and how people drove off of the road using Apple Maps. And I'm reminded of there was an episode in Doctor Who where the cars started locking up and driving people into rivers and stuff like that.
So if you want to step back in the Wayback Machine, when I was just a wee lad, I had one of the first GPSs. I think it was one of the first Garmin GPSs, if I remember correctly. And it consistently told me to take left off of a bridge, specifically at one in Sacramento. Literally, every time I went over there with a GPS, turn left, turn left. Apparently, in a former life, I made it mad. So according to this, the gentleman who died on May 7th failed to spot a turning white truck against a bright sky, according to the documentation. There's rumors and indication that he was distracted. I saw a report talking about somebody saw him actually watching a movie while driving.
This is one of those age-old things where, and I can talk about how I'm afraid of cars driving us off into a river, or, the government taking control of your car and pulling you into a police station because they don't agree with your politics. But in all seriousness, it reminds me of, there was a time when people were using cruise control unresponsibly.
Yes.
And there was a lady who was in her RV, put on cruise control, went in the back of the RV to go to sleep, woke up, and the RV had crashed.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Some of this is, I totally agree with you. It's a new technology. People aren't used to it, so they're going to abuse it because it's people like me, not exactly like me, but love the idea of being able to drive to work but not have to be responsible. When if you actually read the documentation, you listen to Tesla, because as soon as this happened, if I remember correctly, Tesla came out with a report saying you need to be 100% concentrated as if you're driving.
Yeah, the thing about Tesla is they're very, very good at PR as well.
Yeah.
They're really good about marketing themselves. I believe it was Tesla that said, if you're not working for Tesla, you're working for Apple. So
I could see that, even though, I don't know, at least in my mind, working for Apple, it has a little bit more of a shine to it versus working for Tesla. I mean, realistically, how many people know who Tesla is versus Apple? I mean, I get the concept behind it because Tesla right now is probably one of the more high-tech car companies out there.
And they do more than just cars too. They do all sorts of things.
True, they do that. The home battery. It's funny you talk about the issues with driving. Was it driverless cars or autopilot? There's actually an anime about it called X Driver, and then the reason why I bring it up is what it is. You have everybody has these automatic cars except selected people. In the TV cartoon series, or anime series, it's a bunch of kids. They're the only people that have gasoline-powered cars.
Okay.
And their sole job is to stop autopilot cars going rogue.
Interesting.
So something happens, and they drive alongside it, and they have like these guns that shoot paint or something that block all the sensors, and the car automatically stops.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's an old trope when it comes to science fiction. HAL, for example, autopilot. So it's definitely an old trope. But the problem is I think it's a reality. I think this unfortunate gentleman, I think he shares some of the lion's share of it.
Right.
Which is not something I'm not a big fan of pointing fingers at anybody, but he crashed a car. Everybody says, oh, hey, you need to do insert here. You have to do this. I think he failed.
Right. Well, and I'm sure he saw autopilot and didn't even think twice about it. You know what I mean?
So the question is, do you think when he picked up his new Tesla Model S, do you think, if Tesla was going through it and saying, oh, this is the feature and this is the feature, do you think it just completely glossed over that you have to be paying attention 100%? Because I can totally see you get a new toy and you spend, say, like an hour with the salesman. There's a lot of stuff I'm not going to remember.
That's true. And, it could be one of those situations where, he might have been paying attention, or he might have, we don't really know the exact specifics. It said that he might have been watching a movie or something. And if he was, shame on him. If not, then...
Because I wish I wasn't able to find this. So if anybody actually knows this, let us know. What I want you to do, go to episode 13 on the GSMC Technology Facebook page. I don't know. Is there any sort of screen that pops up that says, warning, when in this mode, please pay attention?
Yeah, it would be nice to know a little bit more about the Tesla cars themselves. I don't know very much about them. I
know a little bit more about the actual drivetrain and stuff like that. I remember reading in the early versions of Tesla, they kept blowing transmissions.
Okay.
Because what it is if you don't know it there, everybody, is electric cars are instant torque. There's no, like a car, you have to floor it. It takes a little bit. Because it's electric, all you have to do is, the power's applied and boom, you've got torque up the wazoo. And so I guess what it is, they couldn't find anything that could handle the torque without blowing the transmission. And this is a little bit of a segue, not 100%. There was a TED Talk, and I don't remember which one, that actually talked about remotely taking over a car. And as time goes on, the more technology in the cars, you keep hearing rumors of stuff. One of the first one I remember was OnStar being able to turn off a car when it's stolen. So what do you think? Because the way technology in cars is, they use like drive-by wire. There's no physical connection sometime between the steering wheel and the rack. It would be really easy, I think, for law enforcement or, say, somebody nefarious to take over the car and, I don't know, send you off a bridge, for example.
Well, and I've heard about people being able to start and stop cars using laptops and hacking technology and all of that sort of thing. Like not like your key starting ones, but the button starting ones.
Yeah, where like the Nissan Altima's like that. Basically, you keep the key fob on, you walk in, hit the button, and it starts.
Mm-hmm. And I've always thought that the doors that open and close on their own, it's always been kind of a little silly.
Yeah, what was it? A good friend of mine, actually, his parents were buying, was it a Cadillac SCV or one of the, something like that. And he said, like, he sat down in the car, didn't have the fob in it, and he said he was actually having problems getting out of the car.
That's interesting.
Granted, this was a while ago, so I could be, a little bit shady on the details, but I don't know. I love technology. I love cars, but sometimes I'm wondering, is it better to have less high-end cars like this or high-tech cars, for example? I mean, a friend of mine says, when the atomic bomb that goes off, the only thing that's going to be working is this 67 Impala. So
yeah, pretty much either that or like an old Pinto.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, right now the car I have personally is on the verge of when the 2000 hit, when you started getting cars that were super, super electronically controlled.
One of the things that just worries me about electronic control, too, is what happens when one of those things go out. I know with amplifiers, one of the problems with like Line 6 amplifiers and amplifiers that use a lot more, the jam-pack effects and electronics into them, is that once they go out, there's no fixing them.
Oh, yeah. I'm assuming, and this is kind of a big assumption, the way they're doing it, it's a module. It's probably a couple of modules attached to the ECU and the ECM. So it's probably something that's going to cost you a bloody fortune, though. That I can see. Oh, you blew this here. It's going to cost you $5,000.
Oh, you blew the motor that, closes your van door for you.
Exactly, like the Cadillacs, for example.
So we're coming up on a break. Up next, we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about Pokemon Go. Stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And welcome back. Now, we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about something that's been sweeping the nation and the Facebooks. A little thing called Pokemon Go. So I brought my good friend Jordan down from the music show, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about it because he is the very best.
Hey guys, how's it going? Shay, John, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited about Pokemon Go and this podcast at the same time. So this is a big day for me.
You should be. This is the best show there is on GSMC.
I've heard that this is the second best show there is on GSMC. That's right, yeah.
It's something like that,
Very interesting.
So, Jordan, why don't you tell us a little bit about Pokemon Go?
Well, it's something that's completely taken over my life and the life of so many people here. You're seeing so many people that are driving around in just parked cars at abandoned churches or in parking lots at midnight, and they're just going to catch a Pokemon, get cash in a Pokestop, and then leave. And what's great is it's slowly kind of bringing everybody together because we're all going to the same parking lot and the same abandoned church and the weird building that's open 24 hours that I guess could be a dive bar, but it looks like it's been closed down for a lot longer.
Parts of this does seem like a flash mob gone wrong, because there's just crowds of people randomly walking down, looking at their cell phones. It reminds me of a story we did a couple episodes ago, where they put the street lights in the sidewalks so people wouldn't get run over by cars.
So how exactly does this work? I know it works on a GPS system, and you use your camera as well, correct?
Yes, and that's the great part. It encourages exercise, which is also something. I think what this thing is doing, it's slowly creating a hive mind in the world where everyone's bonding over this one thing that's touching on nostalgia and touching on everybody going out and seeing new places and all these things that sound like something we can bond on. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of pushing everybody together in a sense. I mean, in our where we're living right now, there's a bar crawl for Pokemon Go players that's coming out soon.
That's awesome.
Where you pub crawl while catching Pokemon. And that thing's happening everywhere.
And this is augmented reality, right?
Yeah, so I mean, and you can turn that off. It's an optional thing, but it's a really cool little novelty part of it where you can find a Charmander while on your dashboard while driving, which is something a lot of people have been doing. Don't.
It is kind of weird. I
highly recommend that you don't Pokemon and drive.
Yeah. Golden State Media Concepts recommend
really good Pokemon in that case. Just really just pick up, drop the wheel, let someone else take it. No one's there. Take that risk.
Golden State Media Concepts recommends you be a safe driver and please fully stop before you catch that Pokemon you've always wanted.
That's perfect.
It's really weird. I've seen people around Walmart just walking around, not paying attention, running into things. I do agree. There was an article I read that talked about how even though there's a huge nostalgia factor for this, but unlike most games, Pokemon itself is very well suited to this.
Yeah.
And I agree. The only question is, can you battle other Pokemon? Say, can I whip out my phone and battle you or Pokemon? Your Pokemon?
My Pokemons? A few of them. Actually, there's this whole gym thing that's set up where you have a yellow gym, a blue gym, and red. In the game, you get to pick one of those 3 teams. And once again, like it's slowly unifying everybody, it's also breaking that unification into 3 groups where it becomes a territory war, where you're going to that weird McDonald's that kind of burned down a couple of years ago to take over the gym.
Team Mystic for the win.
Team Mystic for the win. Yeah, you get it. If I can say something about the car thing, too, totally happy for the whole self-driving. And I'm sorry that was the thing that you guys said. And it also goes into the Pokemon Go. Because I have seen so many people. I've never seen so many people on their phone while driving since this game came out.
Seriously?
And I've never seen so many. And I've never been able to go up to strangers as much and say, "You Pokemon going? Yeah, what'd you catch? Eevee? That's what's up."
Yeah, from what I understand, I was just standing outside talking to some of my friends after a game of D&D last night, and these guys drive up to us, and we're just standing outside talking about movies or whatever, and they come up and they're like, "You guys playing Pokemon Go?" We're like, "No." And then they just kept driving. So,
and the thing is, what's really crazy about this game is it's getting more people that even like Pokemon. You don't have to like Pokemon to get in this game.
That's true.
I've met so many people that have never, they know Pikachu and that's it. And now they're slowly relearning everything. They're learning the Pokedex entries. And that's something, I guess, that it was something that was so celebrated and so excited about from everybody. Everyone slowly wanted to try and give it a chance and see what was going on. So as time went on, now we've got people that have never played Pokemon.
I think we're kind of burying the lead just a little bit. But besides the fact it's Pokemon Go, this is Nintendo's first, at least that I know, first ever non-Nintendo release of Pokemon. It's always been on Nintendo 64 or one of their consoles or the Game Boy. This, to me, is a possibility of Nintendo realizing that they can make more money if they release their content and other things.
Exactly.
I would love, and this kind of goes to how geeky I am, I want to see a Pokemon game on the Xbox One.
Now, one of the things that's really...
Using the Kinect.
One of the things that's really interesting about this, too, is people have been talking about wanting Pokemon games on their phones, since the smartphone was invented. Since Nintendo's the leader of mobile gaming as far as their little DSs and 3DSs and stuff like that go. But a lot of people wanted Pokemon games or remakes of Pokemon games on their phone, and of course there are illegal ways to get those.
Oh yeah, running just a tad bit of a sidebar. There are emulators. There's ways to get it. We're not going to tell you or really inform you, but just giving you a little bit of a nod and a wink.
So,
but if we did, John, give them the links.
Sorry, not going to do that.
Okay, just making sure.
But one of the things that's the Pokemon fan base has been wanting mobile games since smartphones have come out. And this is kind of the first time we've seen anything that Nintendo has released legally that we can get on our phones.
And bravo for them of really thinking out of left field, because I was expecting this to be a vague, kind of semi-crappy version of their DS games. I was overwhelmed just by playing with it, and the augmented reality aspect of it. The fact it uses, like where I live, there's a Mexican restaurant, and the fountain in the middle of their parking lot type of thing is where Pokestop. And I'm really impressed. And it's not something for a mobile game that I can really say, because usually they suck and they require you to either spend money or wait 12 hours before you can play again.
Can I say what I've heard that this game started? It was inspired on a joke, or even maybe an April's Fool's thing, about a Pikachu in Google Maps. Mm-hmm. And from that exploded into what if you caught Pokemon and let's make this. And
that's kind of awesome.
It's been teased for a year now, and I know this because I previously worked with someone who was obsessed with Pokemon. A friend of mine, Joey. That it seemed like that was one of the things that defined his character, and so I knew he was going to get this game when it came out. But when I talked to him again, people at work that are in their 40s that I would never think would care about Pokemon. It was their generation missed it. A lot of people are getting into it that have never heard of it before, but they still want to get into it. It's something that passes people that are even Pokemon fans into just anybody.
Well, and there are a lot of good things surrounding it, but there are also some bad things too. We were talking about the driving. Also, there's a bit of elitism within the what are they, clans?
Yeah, there's.
But that's nothing new. I mean, when it comes to especially, there's D&D people like that. When you get anybody who really geek out about something, there's going to be a level of elitism far as, you're just a noob.
Well, and
have you guys seen a game that's taken people by storm this much, that's influenced so much of our news stories? I mean, this is groundbreaking in a lot of ways.
People are trying to catch Pokemon at work.
Yeah, there's pictures of signs at work saying, we pay you to work, not play Pokemon Go.
And if you want to go be a Pokemon master, then I guess you're not going to have a job.
I got to say, I've never seen so many selfies on Facebook until this game came out. When people going, "Hey, I'm here with my Weezing." It's kind of it's a little disconcerting. It's hilarious, but a little odd.
One of my friends posted a picture of a Pidgeotty in his oven. He found a Pidgeotty in his oven.
That's awesome.
I was in the bathroom sitting on the stall, and I opened up my phone, and I then caught a Mankey. So,
I was excited about catching a Meowth.
I think we're running close to the end of time. It's been really great having you on the show, Jordan. Thanks for coming and talking.
It was
about
amazing, guys.
Hopefully, if we talk about another game or something else he's interested, we'll have him stop by again.
Yeah, just throw in just about anything. I live right outside of this studio, 2 blocks. It's totally fine.
He's living, all hardcore style in the city. He literally lives in a tent.
I live in a tent by the studio. That's why I'm in so many shows here.
He lives to catch Pokemon.
Yeah, I recently quit a lot of things, including my lease on my apartment. It's been great, though. Got a lot of respect from people for that.
He's living that freaking lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about a Whata box, something really hard to actually say.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
So KFC has... How do you describe this? I'm going to hand this over to you.
So it's called a Whata box, and it's
Whata box.
Whata box. It's a limited edition thing at select KFCs in India, and what it is it's a little battery built into their $4.99 meal box, and it's set up to charge your phone.
So do you get to take this home? Is this something you have to give back?
From what I've seen, is it comes with the box, and apparently the battery pack is actually kind of bad.
So according to the story I have in front of me, it's roughly 6,100 milliamp hours. I don't know if anybody knows anything about it. Most cell phones are between 1,800 and 3,800. It does vary a little bit.
Right.
So 6,100 milliamps. For an iPhone, that's quite a bit, because I think the 6 Plus or the 6 is like 1,750.
That's about 2 charges, right?
Roughly, at least 2 or 3.
And it doesn't say whether or not they're rechargeable. I'm assuming not, but
see, that kind of surprises me, because my originally thought I was thinking about when I was reading the article was it's something you wouldn't take home, and it was rechargeable. Like there's some sort of base station you plug everything into.
Maybe.
Because I wouldn't see why they would do something that would be one-time use just because it's not cost-effective.
That's true. It really isn't. And maybe that's why they're only doing it in select places in India.
And, India actually doesn't surprise me, because I know India, Africa, and a couple other places from what I've read, there's more mobile usage than, say, like PC usage from what I remember.
One of the things that's important to note is they put it up to a test, and they put the iPhone 5S on the charge with it, and it only gained 17% battery life after a half an hour.
Now, was this with usage? Was it off? because that's the one thing I want to know, because if you turn the phone off and plug it in, you're going to charge a lot more versus, say, if you're using it and all the radios are on, radios like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
It's probably, my assumption would be that it's on a trickle charge, but I don't think they were using any of the apps or anything.
Okay, so it's pretty much what most people do when your phone's about to die. You plug it in, leave it on, don't really turn off the radios or anything like that.
And it also notes that the power bank was drained during that process. They also recharged the power bank to 100% and tried charging a Android phone, and it only got to a 7% charge, and it ran out of juice.
So this must be, was it 1 amp then?
It's possible.
Because some phones, I think it's the phone specifically that I'm thinking about is a Samsung. If you run was it 2 amp, you can actually fast charge a phone versus, say, the 1. Usually, like when friends of mine are saying, "Hey, I need a new car charger, or wall charger," generally I tell them to get the 2 or 2.1. That may ruin your battery faster because every battery has a built-in lifespan. The more you charge it, the more, pretty much the closer you're getting to end of life.
Mm-hmm. And we're seeing this more and more with fast food things. Like, this is kind of nothing new as far as just fast food trying to be innovative. In Hong Kong, there is a box that can be converted into a projector from Pizza Hut. McDonald's launched a special edition thing for Happy Meal boxes that could be converted into VR sets that was only available in Sweden. And Coca-Cola has made a few like cardboard VR headsets.
See, I'm thinking I just don't see that working in the United States, and it's not about like the population, but I do think it's a cultural thing. I do think the KFC what a box I think would work. The issues, I think you would have to give it to people,
right?
Because that would be a high. I think people would be stealing it left and right, just because for one it's unique.
Well, just for the fact that it's unique, they'd probably steal it. I mean, it sounds like this battery actually doesn't do much of a charge, but I guess if you're at 0%, you need to make a phone call, this might be helpful. Other than that, maybe not. But it would be one of those collector's items things, because people love to collect things from their favorite restaurants, and especially here in the States. It
does surprise me, though, that the battery's not that – it just doesn't work. I mean, because you can buy those portable battery chargers. I mean, I got one that I bought from – Walgreens a while ago, and it's like 6,600 milliamp hours, and it works really well. So I'm just surprised. I mean, granted, this is a big company, and they're, somebody the lowest bidder did it, and they probably, it's not the greatest parts, because granted, if they're giving this away, they need it to be cheap. They don't need it to be
exactly.
I'm just surprised, though, that I would have thought it would have just been better.
Right. Well, and one of the things, too, it just seems unnecessary to me. I mean, you can bring your wall charger into a fast food restaurant, and chances are you'll find an outlet. I know if you go to a McDonald's, you'll definitely find an outlet.
See, I'm on the other end, is I think this is a good idea. My only thought is maybe a restaurant doesn't want people plugging in their laptops or their phones, for example. I don't know why not, but I could see coffee shops and other things.
Well, the thing is a lot of fast food restaurants have kind of become like hotspots for Wi-Fi and stuff like that.
Oh, so like the Mick Cafe.
Yeah, not even just McCafe. You can go to a McDonald's and hook up your laptop and everything, and they won't say anything to you. It's just kind of one of those things where people come and get on their computers, and I mean I've seen pictures of people bringing in desktops.
No, I guess that makes sense, because the more you stay there, the greater chance you're going to buy like that second McRib you want.
And chances are you'll probably get French fries or something to snack on, and they're all about that. So I think restaurants are kind of becoming more cafe-like, especially with Wi-Fi hotspots and stuff like that that they're letting people use. And I know I've actually seen in the Natomas area, some of the homeless population will go into McDonald's and even like Mountain Mike's Pizza and hook up their phones to a wall charger, let it charge for a bit, and then leave. I actually think is cool. I've seen the negative side of doing far as plug in your wall. I've seen people unplug, say, like a soda machine outside of the front of like a big box store. They'll unplug it, they'll plug it in, and they don't plug the soda machine back in. That's the only thing I have an issue with. Because my thought was a lot of these stores, if they want to solve this, they need to have charging stations. And like the last time I was in an airport, they actually had this near every major seating area, this giant
monolith tower in the middle of somewhere with USB ports and standard wall plugs.
Oh, that's really cool.
So I'm thinking the more they have this, the better. And if McDonald's just puts in a lot of power outlets, I say good on them.
Yeah.
Because like the soda machine, for example, because what it is the company's losing money. The more that's off, it's going to be cold. People are going to complain. The less likely
Right.
they're going to use it. And it may see something that's ridiculous, but it is something that they'll end up losing money on. And at the end, all these companies are there for making money.
So at the end of the day, it seems like the KFC meal box with a built-in battery is just a fad. We probably won't be seeing that in the States.
I do, however, think it's really cool.
Yeah, if they could protect the technology and make it to a point to where it's something you can shell out really cheaply, then that would be kind of awesome.
See, I don't think they would get very good press if this wasn't of better quality, specifically the battery, because I legitimately think people would riot about it. And it sounds like, oh no, people wouldn't riot, but people have rioted over less things.
Yeah, I think it would definitely put down KFC's numbers.
Even more so than it already is. Now, I want you all to do me a favor. I want you to go to gsmctechnologypodcast.com and check out all the amazing podcasts we have, like Weird News, Television, MMA. We've got a ton of great content, but before you do that, I want you to go to Technology Podcast, which you're listening to now. I want you to click subscribe, and we are everywhere on the interwebs. We are really hard to miss. And after that, I want you to go to the GSMC Technology Podcast Facebook page. This is episode 13. I want you to comment on episode 13. Did we get anything wrong? Did we get anything right? Is there something that you could add or enhance the things we talked about? And I'm Jonathan Charney.
And I'm Shay Northrup.
And thank you for listening.